everyone. Well, welcome back. As you can see, we have a guest, and I am so excited about this. This guest, in all transparency, is my daughter-in-law. Amber just completed an Infinitus race. I'm going to have her explain more about it. But I had the distinct honor of being one of her crew members in watching her do this race. I will allow her to tell you all the details of it, but she probably will not give herself enough kudos. But the fact she took first place and was the only person, male or female, to complete this race this time around. Every other person who started the race did not finish. So without further ado, I'm going to allow Miss Amber to tell us what this race was and what was the details about the race. Amber.
Okay, so the name of the race is called Infinitus, and for that reason why is because there's a small loop and a big loop. So it's the infinity symbol. This year is a little different. We had to have a whole new course. Story for another time, that's not important. But and it offers many other distances. You can do the 9 mile if you feel like it. There's the 50, the marathon, 100, 250, 550 mile option. It takes 10 days to do. I chose the 250, and it's rugged trails, up and down mountains, Moosomaloo and Mount Romance. It's in Vermont. And that's the most simple detail I can give you. It's just a gnarly trail run for 5 long days, doing the same loops over and over and over.
Sign me up.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, I have to ask you this question, Amber. How do you decide to run 250 miles? Where does that come from?
Inspiration. I got inspired from other people, watching other people. I had done a 50 miler at the same venue 2 or 2.5 years ago, and it was 50. If I can do 50, could I do 100? I don't know. And then along the way, I did do 100, and that was amazing. And I got the drive to do more. I saw my husband do a 250 miler out in El Paso, Texas, and I got inspired from that from the get-go. Like, 200 miles, look at you, you can do it. Why can't I do that? Why a female can do that? I can do that. And I would think about it, and it would just go away. Last May, my husband did the 550 mile at Infinitus and completed it.
Wow.
My brain
And
hurts.
at that point, I was like, I don't it's a lot. That was a long 10 days, but it's incredible. I still think about it as a crew person, as a crewer, like watching him put his body through that physically, mentally, and that's what inspires me. Like, I want to feel what that's like. And there was a woman who did the 250 that same year, and that was it. Like, she looked like a total badass, and I just had to give it a go. That's where it came from. That's basically where it came from.
So what does that incredible feel like?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's just so incredible. It's incredible. It's like what is incredible? Like what is that? What's going on that makes you say that word incredible?
Oh man, just watching people continuously put one foot in front of the other and seeing them dragging and tired and beat, dirty, sweaty, and they still go back out on the trail. They still just keep going. I'm like, that is incredible. Just to me, it's incredible. You are mentally fatigued, but you are set on such a mission, whatever it is, you just keep going back for more. That's inspiring to me.
Wow. Well, you're certainly inspiring to me. I'll tell you that. I'm like blown away, honestly. Yeah. Well, since I'm asking the questions, I'll go to my next question. What does discipline look like for you, and how else does it show up in your life besides training? Because that takes a lot of discipline, not just the physical aspect of that running that 250 and what that training must have looked like. Like, I can't even imagine, but the discipline, the mental discipline. Tell me about that.
Okay. This might sound really simple. And I think that discipline, you need other factors that push discipline forward. So, for instance, I need to floss my teeth every day. Why? Do I want my teeth to fall out when I'm older? No. Floss your teeth. It's as simple as that. Do I want this goal? Do I want to achieve a healthy lifestyle throughout my life? Then that means create the habit. The habit will create the discipline. To me, it's just that simple.
How do
that
you
makes
do
sense?
Yeah, no, it does totally. How does that though, that mental toughness that was required to do that, when every ounce of your being is saying, stop the madness, just stop right now, right? What is it like? What does that look like? What is it that you're telling yourself? What does that self-talk look like?
That's a tough question to answer. I will be honest, because maybe in the early stages of the race, it's, well, remember this charity you put out there. Okay, keep going. Like, this really sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. Well, just keep going. Everybody else is dropping. Keep going. Prove them all wrong. That's something my husband would keep on saying. This person dropped. That person dropped. They couldn't hack it. They dropped. Keep going. Prove everybody wrong. So I would never celebrate somebody quitting the race, but in the moment, I was heartbroken. Oh, bummer. Why did they quit? I'm out here by myself now. But sometimes you have to get a little bit competitive, may not be the right word, but a little bit dark, where I would think, good, I'm going to keep going. You dropped, I'm going to keep going. Maybe you dropped, I'll keep going for you. So I have to continuously keep, if this wasn't working anymore, all your charities that you're sharing daily, okay, it's not enough. Well, this person dropped. All right, I'll keep going for them. This woman dropped. Well, I'll keep going because I'll prove that a woman can do this. So every day there was continuously this little voice that says, quit, 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 quit. And then the other side is, don't you dare. Don't you dare do it. You have all these people watching you. And I remember something really petty. That doesn't matter. But I had found out that the race director has made these beautiful wooden awards and he only needed one because everybody dropped and I was the last one. Saturday morning, I wanted to quit so bad. I was crying and rolling around on the tent floor, but I kept thinking about my Gomez beads. Those were left on the top of a mountain. I had to go back and get them. But knowing the race director said, well, I only need one because one wouldn't award because everybody else dropped. So as petty as that was, that actually motivated me. I can't let down this race director. He's got this one plaque that he made. I have to make sure I get it. So lots of little things were propelling me forward.
That's amazing though, to be able to override the voice that says quit, 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 right? Because I would suggest that you are probably in one of the, the 2% that can actually not listen to that voice and just say, I don't care what you're saying, we're going to do this anyways.
Yep.
But I'd like to interject here. She's very good in her pushing through what she needs to with her mind, but she also had a lot of support with it. And I think that's also important when somebody is trying to do something. And her husband, my son, was constantly in her ear, not in a bad way. I watched their dynamics between the two of them where they could read each other. And he knew when he had to be like, excuse my language, kick ass and just like really push her forward. Yeah. And then where he had to be more in a loving conversation with her. So I think it's your mindset, but it also is what your support team is there helping you through that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to overspeak, Amber.
No, you're fine. Totally cool. So I agree with you.
My last question, although I have like 9 million more that every time you keep talking, but the last question that I have is, were you always like this? Like, were you always driven, or like at some point were you a couch potato?
Nope, I was never like this. Growing up, I never played sports. I never did any of that stuff. The most activity I would do is, play tag in the schoolyard in elementary school. I hated sports, probably because I thought I wasn't good at anything. Just didn't do anything. And I drank a lot. There was a point in mine and my husband's lives where we were heavy into drinking and just, we would garden and be active in a way, but never running. We never did anything like this. And it wasn't until maybe, I want to get the dates right, but I'm going to say 2012, we started doing the insanity workouts as a challenge. Jay's, I'm a Marine, I can do this. So we did that, but he did the 2 months and fell off. And I tried to keep doing it, fell off. It's a very yo-yo thing. I think a lot of people go through I'm going to do it for a while and then stop, and up and down, up and down. And I think it was 2013, Jay, my husband, got introduced to Tough Mudder. And he said, I'm not downing him for saying this. We were watching YouTube videos and rope climbing and 10 miles worth of running and obstacles. And he says, oh, you could never do this. He was a different person at this time. So I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I'd rather cook pasta and drink wine and have a good time. I don't care about this. And so he did it with a friend. He did it with a friend the next year. And then the next year after that, I started feeling like I'm missing out on something, I think. I'm going to sign up, but I needed other people to sign up with me. So a bunch of girls, our friend, both of our friends, like, yeah, we're all gonna do it. None of the girls that I knew signed up, just me. So it was me. That was the year Michelle did it. You did it in 15. It's 2015. And a bunch of people Jay used to work with. We all did this Tough Mudder. And I was scared out of my mind. Like, I trained for it, like what I thought I would have to do, which was mostly insanity workouts. After crossing that finish line, everything changed. 2015 to now, we stayed active, we kept working out, we signed up for more races, and this is what it evolved into.
Wow.
Here we are.
Wow. Great story.
That's a great story.
story. Love it. Love it. Okay, well, I won't hog Amber any longer, ladies. I know you have questions too. So
I wanted to know, what did you learn about yourself prior to the race? Like, did anything, like, prior to the race, you were this person and then you accomplished that? Did you learn something about yourself that you didn't know before because of the race?
Good question.
Like, you already knew you were badass, right? So that we got that covered, but
it's kind of funny because I applied who I was for the race, but I came out mentally stronger in the sense of, okay, I can do harder things. I got it. Like, what I thought was mentally tough and in my other races, this doesn't even compete. This was much worse, and I learned, I don't want to even call it learning, but more, I've experienced a deeper voice, like, in my brain. I described it at the time as the voice in my head telling me to quit wasn't my voice. It's I know it sounds bizarre, but it felt like a whole nother Amber was in here, and I've never explored that part of me before. So
wow,
I've learned that. I've touched a darker side of me I didn't know existed, and I faced it. Yeah.
Wow, like that, what a privilege.
yeah.
What an inspiration. That's amazing that you found that other one. You found the other Amber. That is,
yeah.
That's so because you found her, are you going to make different changes in your life? Are you going to go pursue something that you might not have done prior to the race? Are you going to release her?
I think I'm still exploring that. I think I'm letting all of those emotions still settle to see what seeds are going to grow from that. Right now, I don't know. I'm still letting everything kind of sink in and really explore that. So I don't have quite the answer for that just now.
And when did the impact of what you did actually sink in? Because I'm sure it wasn't right at the end of the race, because you're probably just,
Nope.
going through all of, physical stuff and things like that. But when did it really hit you that this is what I just accomplished?
That's probably been about a month later, it really started to hit.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And even now, I still kind of question, did I really do anything? Did I really do it? Because after the race, all the hype is gone. I've got no one to talk to.
Right.
So after about 3 weeks, my body started to calm down. It's not screaming at me anymore. Now I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the experience. I want to talk about every section I hated. I want to cry. I want to do everything, but there's no one around. So I have to really take time, a little piece of time each day, and really dissect it, think about it, understand the accomplishment, and feel all the feeling. It's been a process. I honestly didn't think it would be this way. But I like it. I wouldn't say I'd never do it again. I'm happy for the experience, but it's taken a while.
Right, like the race ended, but not what was going on with you. That's really interesting. Right. Like, that's fascinating. So what's one word, like, what could you tell someone who's like, what words could you tell your inner voice to keep you motivated? Like, is there anything you could say, like, hey, Tracy, if you want to be motivated, just say this in your head that, you know, gets you keeping that one foot in front of the other? Or just figure it out yourself, Tracy. You do you.
I think it's a little bit of everything, really. I think there's some moments where it was, hey, Amber, figure it the F out. Figure it out. You're in the middle of the woods. Figure it out. There was a point where I was struggling really bad. I had the privilege of being able to keep my phone on me for emergencies and for music. Like, I needed music during the nighttime. And I'm climbing up this ridiculous steep portion and I'm losing my mind. I forget what it was. And I got on our group chat and I was just cussing and swearing. I'm like, I'm having an awful time right now. I can't get my shit together. I don't know what I said. And it would have been just a quick hike, 3-mile hike backwards for someone to meet me. So my husband did. But by the time he came in, I was already huffing and puffing. My head was down, my music was blaring, and I didn't even need the help. I think sometimes that was definitely we'll figure it out, because I don't really know if anybody's going to come out here and just play your music. It's getting dark, and just put your head down, put one foot in front of the other, figure it out.
Yeah.
So when my husband actually did come in and meet me, he's like, do you even need me right now? I'm like, yeah, you're already here. Let's effing go. We got to finish this next 4 miles, damn it. Where other times I would think of words like ferocity, tenacity, strength, power. Strength was a big one. And I have a friend, he just was in some island, I forget, doing this amazing marathon, and he would call afterwards and say it was amazing, and nobody was just hanging around. And anybody who was struggling to climb the mountain on this marathon, somebody would walk by and say strength, but they said it in whatever language it was. I forget what it was. And I carried that with me. I really liked that. So a lot of times when I was struggling, I would just whisper to myself all the time, strength, just, and I love that so much. Instead of, you're almost there, keep going, you got this. Like, I want to hear something different, like strength, just go. Every time I put my foot down, just strength. So that was one big power word for me.
That's amazing.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There was one other thing actually too. The race director, we had gone out and previewed the race and helped clean up and mark and do some things. And later on, he messaged me, how do you think the course was? How are you feeling? I'm like, I'm really nervous. You know, I'm not fast. And he says, I think that you're strong, and that beats fast. And I carried that with me as well. Like, I don't need to be fast. I need to be strong. Go.
I love it. I just love it.
Yeah, incredible.
And you found your inner strength. Like, I'm just blown away how amazing that is, that you asked for help, but you relied on yourself. And even though the help came, you dug deep and got it yourself. I'm just blown away. Speechless.
Yeah. Seriously, like mind blown. I
don't want to take away from the crew. Obviously, like, the crew was a big part of it. My pacers were a big part of it.
Mhm.
And I sometimes think of that a lot, where I'm like, well, I needed so much help. Did I really do it? And then I think, well, you could have just walked it 20-minute miles and failed. You still had to go, like you still had to keep a pace. So I do struggle with the what's the word, giving myself credit. I'm like, well, my crew did everything, my pacers did everything. And I saw a quote that said something along the lines of, your coach gives you the directions, you still need to drive the car.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I understand it's an accomplishment and I did it.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. Embrace that. Like,
Yes.
seriously, embrace that. Like, you are flipping incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even come up with another word. It's like, like, seriously, you need to like embrace that. Like,
Yeah.
you should get a t-shirt. I'm a badass. I did too. I can do 250 in my sleep. Like,
She
seriously.
was probably sleeping through some of her run, believe
Yeah,
me.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, just this kind of stuff has always jazzed me, but to actually be talking to somebody who's actually done this is like, it's phenomenal. So just the mental discipline, it's like, to me, the whole training thing is almost more important than the race, because the amount of miles that you have put in order to do that in the first place, like, people go, oh my gosh, you ran 250. Well, you probably ran 2,500 to get to the 250. You know what I mean? It's like, just that discipline to go out when you don't want to go out, to get up in the morning in the pitch black and say, I got to do a run. Like, it's inspiring. It's very inspiring.
Yes, very inspiring.
Yeah, very inspiring.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think that's true. Sometimes people look at the finish line, but they don't understand the journey that
Yes.
they have gone through to get to that point.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so Amber, why don't you talk a little bit about that journey? So you trained for, I think it was a year for this, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think it was a year. And it wasn't just running. I think your training included strength workout, different types of cardio. She went out on long runs. They would set aside a weekend and she'd go out and do 100-mile run, things like that. So go ahead.
Yep. I have to say, actually, my running training for all of this, I never really went over 40 or 50-mile weeks, surprisingly. They weren't like, I never had to do 100-mile weeks. Not even, I think I might have hit a 40-mile week, 35-mile week at the most. But back-to-back long runs. And that was mostly based off time. So my coach, Helen, would say, hour run, 2 hours, everything was based on time, more time on legs, because your body doesn't know the difference between miles and it just knows effort. So I only had to do one big training, and that was in March. I had to do 100 miles. Or I had to, it wasn't necessary to do 100 miles, but I had to do something where I was like, do a bunch of miles, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. Do a bunch of miles, go to sleep, wake up, do it again for at least 2 to 3 days, so that I understand how my body's going to feel. That was a wake-up call, that for sure. Yeah, a lot of strength training, a lot of hiking with weight. I had to do a lot of walks and hiking and walking and with a weighted vest. That was the most important. I have found out that the most important thing is time on legs and making sure you can hike. You need to be able to just hike at a pretty quickish pace. So And a year of that, yes. Winter, fall, rain, snow, ice, all of it. All of it's super helpful. And you're right, Michelle. It is about the journey to the destination.
Yeah, because I think sometimes people don't understand the journey or take a moment throughout the journey. And then when they get to the destination, they are like, oh, I did the race, where you had this whole year of different accomplishments throughout. And the cherry on the top was the Infinitus 250.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome cherry. It was a huge cherry on this whole journey that you took, but it was still it wasn't one day you decided to get up and go run 250 miles. You weren't a David Goggins and decided to run 100 miles on one weekend. So what her commitment, and it wasn't just hers, because throughout that, we then as a crew, we also had our conversations that started probably 2 to 3 months beforehand, so that we got a complete understanding of what the requirements and what her needs were. And we planned everything. And I want to say our plan worked. This is my viewpoint, Miss Amber, 60%. And I thought that was great. And we were able to go on the fly for the other 40%. And that could have been food intake that we thought she was going to be able to do. Her stomach decided not to take that. Okay, we switched in, made a change. You don't know what the weather is, you switch and make a change. We don't know what her mindset was going to be. We had to switch and make a change. Like, so even with all this planning, we also had to adapt, tuck and roll sometimes and make adaptments. And I'm going to tell one cute story that I was thinking about the other day. So what people do not understand is her race, Jason's race, was planned in spreadsheets. We have 4 different spreadsheets for 4 different scenarios of different days and timings. She's laughing because we have these spreadsheets all over the place. And she was at 8 stations for 10 minutes. Between the different loops was 20 minutes or 25, depending on the time. The end of the night was a 30-minute, and in that 30 minutes was her stretching, shower, eating. She could just decompress, and she slept for 4 hours. That was continuous for 5 days, okay? I think it was by the 3rd day, we are all exhausted, including her, because we're keeping pace with her. And no one's alarm went off, except for one person's, hers. So in our group text, we get a text. Aren't I supposed to be up now? And all you hear is, oh shit. And my car door's opening. Jason's jumping out of his tent. The other girl, Emma's jumping out of her tent. Like, oh, we overslept. And here's Amber. Aren't I supposed to be up now?
But you only slept for 4 hours.
Because, yeah, roughly 3 or 4, but by the time I actually settled down and shut my brain off, I probably got 3 hours, 2.5. Yeah. And then I never set an alarm, Michelle, actually. Oh. I just was awake the whole time. I'm just like, okay, I need my clothes laid out right now. Like I made it mental note to make sure I woke up before you guys consistently so that I can go and get the clothes I want, get going, roll my muscles out before anybody even came in. And you're right, I think it was either the 2nd or the 3rd day. It all is quiet. It's like 3 a.m. I'm like, this is really weird. No one's coming in, no one's even budging. Text. Shouldn't I be awake now?
Because we wanted Amber Amber had her own space. So we had like a command center tent. So in there was her cot, all her clothing, all her first aid kits, her foot care, all her shoes, everything. And we all slept outside of that because that was her area. So she can have her quiet time, alone time. And it was just freaking comical. It was just, we probably have lost ourselves in laughter, I want to say at least 10 to 12 times a day. And that was good release for all of us, especially for Miss Amber, on things. But Amber, I think my question to you is, how do I want to say this? Do you feel, what would you tell a young girl or a woman who is afraid to try something? Not a 250-mile race, not even a marathon, who wants to just go out and try something they've never done before. What advice would you give them?
What advice would I give them? First, I would say research it as much as you can. Engulf yourself in that thing. Really figure out if that's what you want to try. Don't go out and do it really quick. That's something my husband would say. I don't agree with that. Read it. Be it for a little while. See what it's really like. Like go to a class, go to this, research, practice, do whatever. Then do it. Do the thing. Whatever it is. Whatever. Just do it. Right? That's pretty classic, I think. Don't be afraid. I think actually being afraid of trying something is very normal and very natural. It means that you're doing something for the first time and it's exploratory. And I think that you should do as much research, do as much hands-on as you can, as far as like, I want to learn how to knit. Let me watch these videos. Let me learn this. Let me see this pattern. Let me watch the pro. Like there's probably competition knitters out there somewhere. Like just immerse yourself in it, learn it, be comfortable, and then go do it.
I love that. I love that. And I love the point that you said, to make sure that's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we look at the new shiny thing or the next shiny thing, or something someone's doing and say, oh, I should be doing. And that's might not be your personality. So don't do it. You don't have to do it. Like,
right. That's exactly it.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that.
It's not what I expected you to say, actually. That's not what I was, I thought, oh, this is a really good question. And the answer is not anything that I thought you were going to say. That's so wild.
What did you think she was going to say?
I thought she was just going to say, you just have to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Just do it. Like, don't think too much about it.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and it's like, research it, immerse yourself in it. It's like, yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But I also know Amber's personality, and that's Amber. That is her personality.
Yeah.
And but yes, I love that. I love that piece from it. And I just want to say, from a crew perspective, she said it did take a community for her to complete this, but we were there maybe holding and pushing and nurturing and nourishing her. But if her feet weren't moving, she wouldn't have done the race. So we were part of that village that helped her make each step, but she is the one who crossed that finish line.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So on that. And I also saw her right after the race, and I got the pleasure of taking her home afterwards because Jason was doing some cleanup, and she'd be in the middle of a conversation with me and fall fast asleep. And then she'd wake back up and we'd pick up the conversation. She'd fall back asleep. And then she'd pick up the conversation and we should fall back asleep. It was very comical to watch, because you have to imagine she was only doing 2 to 3 hours, 5 days in a row. So that's 15 hours sleep, 5 days.
Yes.
So
the process afterwards actually must have been very interesting, because you can't just go run 250 miles and then, okay, tomorrow's just another day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure your body has got to go through this whole, no?
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. I mean, I would think just getting the sleep and everything, like to have to re-nourish, what you had gone through, I think would take a little bit of time.
Yeah, I definitely didn't wake up the next day. All right, let's start the day. Like, it was, get out of bed, crawl out of the bedroom, crawl to the bathroom. Actually, I have to say, one thing I did learn, my first 100 miles I've ever done, you can't, I think for anything, like let's say you run a marathon and the next day, 2 to 3 days, you just want to be a couch potato. I've learned you can't do that, because everything's going to get super stiff and it'll take longer for your body to recuperate. So I had to make sure, get out of bed, rub my muscles, warm up the fascia on top of the muscle, like get things moving, and get up, walk around, keep doing it. Yeah, sit down, rest, eat good food, the whole thing. But I think for about a week and a half, I had a really hard time sleeping. I was super uncomfortable. My legs felt like they were still moving, and I sweat so much, but I never felt hot. I never felt cold. It was just, my body was just leaking toxins. I was in a bed of sweat for about a week. And I would keep waking up with this thought of, I know I'm home, but I have to keep running these miles. I have another landmark to get to. I'm in the house. And I could tell that my legs have been thrashing all night. So that part of recovery was not fun. Like, that's the part I would not celebrate. I don't like it. It's fun when you come back from the race and you're tired and you're just, but the next night or two, for about a week, I was still having, I don't want to call them nightmares, but I don't know, near the very, very end, I was hallucinating a lot, and leaves at night look like faces and just weird demonic doll faces. I was like tripping so bad, but that's the last image that I would keep seeing. So in bed, I keep seeing this image, and I know I'm thrashing around, and I'd wake up and sweat, and my brain is still in the race.
Wow.
It was intense. It's crazy. That was the hardest part of everything, was the recovery. That part of recovery.
Yeah. And again, like people just tend to look at the, oh my God, you did 250 miles and not all of the stuff that went ahead and all of the stuff that comes behind. That whole acceptance of the accomplishment and realizing that, yeah, you did it, and like having to process all of that, because it's pretty significant. Amazing.
Yeah. So Amber, one last thought. I think we've had some conversations on this. I just like your thoughts on it. So what I saw and realized even more so in the witness of this is how you can push your body through your mind. Like how you were able to, even though you had the negative thoughts and the positive thoughts and this and that, it really came down to your mind over your body. Am I correct?
Yeah,
And I think that was surprising. It was even more solidified for me that sometimes our body, so we're doing a workout and we get that burn and we're like, oh, we got to stop it. Our body stops. Where no, technically we can push our body to another limit through our mind. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I really saw towards the end.
Yeah, you'd be right with that. And I think also a couple things that might have happened is, I call it autopilot in things like this, where I don't hear anything and I'm just moving. Nothing matters. There's no chit chat. Just do what I'm told and move. That happened a lot. There was a lot of dead silence, and just then all of a sudden I'm at a cruise spot, and I'm like, oh, you guys, okay. Then all of a sudden, like, I'm serious on the trails, but when it came to my cruise spots, I am like goofy and laughing, and that's just my personality is being exuberated, I guess. Like, well, I gotta smile at some point or I'm gonna lose my mind. And we crack so many jokes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even a joke. Sometimes it was like, Michelle would be like, eat this. And I just slowly look at her like, what did you just tell me to do? God.
Yeah, it was. Ladies, do you have any other questions for Miss Amber?
Just in awe.
Yeah, that was the word I was going to say.
Yeah,
Just in awe.
honestly, just incredible. It's been a privilege to talk to you, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Well,
for
it's
being
a privilege to be on here.
here.
Miss Amber, please stay on for a second. I'm just going to end it. But listen, everyone, if you have any comments for what we're talked about today, please put them in the comments below. Anything for questions that you might have for Amber or even for Jason, they both have and race direct a couple different races within Vermont. We can get you that information. If you think someone else would love to benefit from this showing, please make sure you share it with somebody. Our episodes come up every Wednesday, so make sure you subscribe or put in a notification so you can know when our next broadcast is out. Thank you, Miss Amber.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amber.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.